Hello, my name's Glenn Jackson. There's been a lot of talk in recent days about whether the referees and the referees' bosses will be talking and being a bit more visible during the season. I'm pleased to say that certainly Tony Archer will be doing a lot more. He'll be transparent, he'll be visible. On this occasion, we'll be doing a weekly chat with Tony to talk through all the relevant issues around the referees. There were certainly a few to get through. Earlier today, I caught up with Tony and talked through the opening round of the Telstra Premiership. Tony, thanks for joining us. Wanted to start off by asking you about Mitchell Moses. There's been a bit of controversy over the weekend about that the decision which was on Saturday night in the West Tigers Gold Coast game. Mitchell Moses was placed on report for a high shot on Will Zillman, but he wasn't sent off. It looked dramatic. What are your thoughts? Should he have been sent off?
Yeah, no, I don't think he should have been sent off in these circumstances. I support the decision made by the video referee. When he reviewed it, he could clearly tell that Mitchell Moses had his hand open, there was no swinging arm action and he was wrong-footed. In those circumstances, I think it was appropriate that he stayed on the field.
Okay, now there was an 8-point try awarded in the Newcastle Warriors game. Thomas Luluai and Tyrone Roberts involved there. What were your thoughts on that ruling, the 8-point try?
Yeah, obviously the video referee reviewed the try. He also determined that there was contact between the knee of Tyrone Roberts and the head of Thomas Luluai. In those circumstances, I don't think that was the correct decision. The reason for that is I don't think he led with that knee. His hands were close to Thomas Luluai. He appeared to me to be completing a tackle. So in those circumstances, I don't think it was appropriate there was an 8-point try awarded.
Sunday evening in the Cronulla against Canberra game, there were a couple of sin binnings for fighting. Jack Whiten and Sasai Feki both sin binned for fighting. Were you comfortable with both players being sin binned on this occasion?
Yeah, I certainly was. It's quite clear that the league and the referees have been very strong in relation to this area. You throw a punch, you go to the sin bin. I think everyone's well aware of that. In these circumstances, obviously the first punch was thrown by Jack Whiten, and he was penalised for that. He also went to the sin bin. Feki retaliated. He also went to the sin bin for throwing punches.
There's been a lot of talk, Tony, about the slight change to the interpretations around the ruck over the off-season. It was something that was communicated to the coaches, to the clubs last year. They've had a bit of a time to think about this one and work with it. We've only had one round, but what did you think of that sort of ruck interpretation over the opening round of the competition? Yeah,
obviously, as you said, Glenn, it's a very small cross-section, 8 games over a whole season. But I was comfortable with how the referees interpreted it on the weekend and how the players complied. Obviously, there was a rise in penalties in relation to hand-on-ball and flops, but to be fair to that, that was based on momentum being gained by the ball carrier, and appropriately the play of the ball shouldn't be slowed down after that. So I was comfortable with how we interpreted the ruck over the weekend, but as I did say, it was only a very, very small cross-section.
And generally, you're happy with how they refereed the first round of the Premiership?
Yeah, I think we had a solid start to the first round. I was very happy with the way in which the referees dealt with the foul play on the field. There was also the circumstances where they made some very big decisions leading to potential try-scoring plays. There was one last night in relation to Billy Slater taking out Jason Nightingale prior to a score, a try-scoring play by Ryan Hinchcliffe. There was a couple on the weekend where we made big decisions at the big moments. The Cronulla game where the dummy half had his foot on the line. We want them to make those live decisions without them necessarily being reviewed, and I thought we handled that well.
Been a bit of talk too, just finally, about the coaches and officials and players not being able to discuss referees as much as they have previously. But you are going to be more transparent this year. You're going to be more visible.
Yeah, I think the obligation is on the referees department to explain the controversial decisions over the weekend, and obviously you'll see more of that, more of me doing that, and us certainly. We review very hard on the referees internally, but we want everyone to understand that we're also quite clear in putting out what we get correct and what we don't.
Thanks for your time, Tony.
Thanks, Glenn.